Welcome, everyone. Ready to dive deep. Today, it's Harold W. Becker and his The Joy of Love essays. Seriously, this collection is mind-blowing. It might totally change how you think about, well, love, yeah, obviously, but also creation, even reality itself.
It's amazing, right? I mean, Becker takes these huge concepts like cosmic level stuff and makes them so personal, so relatable.
Exactly. Like, this isn't just some philosophy textbook. It's a guidebook for, I don't know, how to live with more joy, more purpose. One thing that really struck me was this whole creator beings idea that Becker keeps coming back to. Honestly, at first, I was a little skeptical.
Yeah, I get that. It can sound a little out there.
Right. But the more I read, the more it clicked.
It's a real shift in perspective. He's not just talking about creating art or inventions. He's saying that we shape reality, like literally our thoughts, beliefs, what we do, that's what creates the world around us.
Wow. I like that. He uses this really cool phrase. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Initial creative elements that allow us to dream what is possible and the ability to make things manifest. So we dream it, then we make it happen. Powerful stuff.
And he ties this directly to the cosmos. It's like the universe is this giant source of raw material, and our imagination, that's the tool we use to sculpt it, to shape it.
Like cosmic clay.
Exactly. And it's empowering, but it also makes you think about the responsibility. We're creators. That means we have to be careful what we create, right?
Definitely. And that brings us to, I think, another really key idea from Becker. The shift from an inner to an outer focus. He's saying that somewhere along the line, humans became obsessed with the things we create instead of the actual act of creation.
It's like, think about early humans. They were all about survival, working with nature, building shelter, finding food. Their focus was internal, understanding the rhythms of the world around them.
So like really in tune with nature and the creative forces of life.
Right. But then, as societies developed, we started valuing the products of creation more. Like the outward signs of success.
So instead of that connection to the creative process, we started wanting to own things, control things.
Exactly. And that, according to Becker, is where things started to go wrong. He says, and this is a powerful line, generation upon generation, we unwittingly filled chapters with limitation, greed, dominance, and control.
Wow. It's like we traded our freedom for stuff. That phrase, filling chapters with limitation, it really hit me. Can you give me an example of what he means by that?
Well, think about how empires rose and fell. So much of history is about conquering, exploiting others. Or even today, look at consumerism. It's all about getting more, even if it means we hurt ourselves or the planet.
So we focus on what we have, not what we are.
And that creates limitations.
Yeah.
It closes us off from those deeper, more fulfilling aspects of life.
It makes you wonder, have we been playing the wrong game this whole time? What if, instead of all this chasing external validation, we went back to that inner creative power Becker talks about?
That's the big question, isn't it? And the good news is, Becker doesn't leave us without an answer. He actually offers a very hopeful perspective. He thinks humanity is waking up. We're starting to see the limits of this outward focus and rediscovering the power of, well, love and compassion.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Becker uses this phrase, "It's beautiful, actually, dimmed, however never extinguished, our spark of love is growing brighter." It's like, even when we went astray, that essential spark was always there, just waiting to be rekindled.
That spark, he says, is connected to what he calls heart-centered energy. And that's all about, choosing compassion and connection over competition and control. Have you ever felt that deep empathy for someone, that warmth that spreads outward?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's heart-centered energy. And Becker thinks this energy is getting stronger. More and more people are tapping into it.
So if we're really experiencing this reawakening to love, what does that look like in the world? Like, how do we actually see it happening?
Well, look at all the people working for social justice, protecting the environment, trying to build peace. There's this wave of empathy, this feeling that we're all connected.
It's like we're realizing that taking care of each other, taking care of the planet, that's actually taking care of ourselves.
Exactly. And it's not just big movements. It's those little everyday acts of kindness, too. Helping someone, donating to a cause, just listening to someone who needs to talk.
So it's like we're not just waiting for some big change to happen. We're actually part of it. Our choices matter.
Our choices matter a lot. And that brings us to another huge idea from Becker. Intentional creation. He's saying that our thoughts, feelings, all of that, it shapes reality. We have way more control than we think. He doesn't say we can just magically manifest anything, But he makes this distinction between being proactive and being reactive in how we create.
So what's the difference?
Well, think about reactive creation. That's when you're driven by fear, insecurity, that feeling of lack. You're reacting to things, not shaping them, like being tossed around by waves instead of steering the ship.
Okay, I think I get it. So proactive creation is about choosing your course, right?
Yes, aligning your thoughts, feelings, actions with your values, with your deepest intentions. It's about understanding that you're not just a victim of circumstance. You're a participant. You shape your life and the world around you.
I love that. But Becker also talks about qualifying the energy of life with our intentions. That sounds pretty deep. Can you break that down for me?
Imagine your thoughts are like seeds. You plant seeds of fear, negativity, scarcity. Well, you're probably going to have some difficult experiences.
Makes sense. So if we plant seeds of love, gratitude, abundance, we're more likely to attract good things.
Right. Doesn't mean pretending everything's perfect. It's about approaching life with a mindset that aligns with what you want to create.
So choosing to focus on the good, believing things can get better, acting on that belief.
You got it. And this leads us to, I think, the core of Becker's message. He's saying that our true nature is love. Aligning with that truth, that's where joy comes from. That's what opens up possibilities we might not have even imagined.
This quote really sums it up. Joy is our birthright and love is our journey. It's like he's saying, joy is already inside us. We just have to uncover it.
And love is the guide on that journey. It's not always easy, of course. There are challenges, setbacks, moments of doubt. But those are exactly the moments when choosing love matters most.
Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? We ask, how can I choose love in this moment?
Exactly. And the more we choose love, the stronger that muscle becomes. And the more we can shape a reality that reflects our values.
It's powerful stuff. It's inspiring. But I also wonder, how do we actually live this? How do we go from understanding it in our heads to embodying love in a way that actually transforms our lives?
That's a great question, and it deserves its own deep dive for sure. But I think self-awareness is a good place to start.
What do you mean by that? Self-awareness in relation to love.
Pay attention to your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. Do they line up with love? Are you acting from fear or from love? Are your choices creating more compassion in the world, or are you contributing to negativity and separation?
So be honest with yourself. See where you might be falling short.
It's not about beating yourself up if you notice those patterns. We're all on a journey. We all make mistakes. But when you become aware, you can start making different choices. Choices that are more in line with how you want to live.
Self-awareness as a foundation for love. I like that.
And remember, it's a process. It never really ends. It's not about reaching some destination. It's about choosing a direction, moving towards love one step at a time.
So we're constantly learning, growing, refining our understanding of what it means to love.
Yes. And as we continue to explore Becker's work, you'll see how all these ideas connect. Recognizing ourselves as creators, embracing love as our true nature, it all leads to a more joyful, meaningful way of being in the world.
I'm excited to keep going. Becker's already shifting my perspective in some pretty profound ways.
Me too. It's a journey worth taking.
So we've got this power to shape reality, right? That's huge. But where does love fit in? I mean, is Becker saying love is more than just a feeling? Like it's an actual force, something that can actually change the world.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He's saying love isn't just something you feel inside. It's a real energy. Like it's woven into everything. And how we express that love, the intention behind it, that changes things. Our personal experiences, even the whole world around us.
That's kind of like, what's that thing called? The butterfly effect, where even small things can cause big changes. Is that what he's saying? Like our love or lack of love, it has that much power.
He uses this phrase. Hold on, let me find it. Here we go. We qualify the energy of life with our intentions. It's like, okay, imagine you're always sending out a signal, like a frequency. And that signal is based on, well, your thoughts, how you feel, what you intend to do. And that frequency, it interacts with everything around you. It shapes the things that happen to you, the people you meet, the whole experience.
So if we're always sending out this love energy, shouldn't everything be perfect? I mean, obviously, the world's not all sunshine and rainbows, right?
Good point.
Yeah.
And Becker knows that. He sees the bad stuff, the suffering, all that. But he doesn't think it means love is absent. He actually thinks it's an opportunity. A chance for love to shine even brighter.
So it's not about pretending everything's okay. It's about like being the light in the darkness.
Exactly. And the more we choose to be that light, even when things are tough, the stronger it gets. It shows the way for ourselves and for other people too.
It reminds me of, well, you see it all the time, right? People doing amazing things, even when terrible stuff is happening, like first responders running into danger, or people volunteering to help, just strangers comforting each other. That's like what Becker's talking about, isn't it? That unstoppable love, even in the worst situations.
You got it. Those are perfect examples.
Right.
And those choices, those acts of love in the face of, really hard stuff, they inspire other people. It's like this chain reaction of kindness.
It's like a good vibe counteracting all the bad stuff, the negativity and fear. Sometimes it feels like that's all there is.
Yeah, it can feel that way. And that goes back to what we talked about before, proactive versus reactive. If you react to negativity with more negativity, it just keeps going. But if you respond with love, with understanding, if you look for the good, even in difficult people, that breaks the cycle and it opens up new possibilities.
So don't get sucked into the negativity. Choose a different way, a way that's, well, based on love.
Right. But that takes courage. You got to be willing to, to be vulnerable, to step outside your comfort zone, to really trust that love can change things.
It's kind of scary, right? Believing that even when you don't see immediate results, your choices to act with love, they're actually making a difference.
That's a great way to put it. And this brings us to, I think, the heart of what Becker's saying, the joy of love. He talks about joy a lot. It's part of love, but it's also the result of choosing love.
So it's not just that love brings joy. Joy is like a natural part of it. It's just there.
Yeah. And that means love isn't a burden. It's not something you have to do. It's actually incredibly fulfilling. Yeah. It's not about sacrificing your own happiness. It's about realizing that your happiness and other people's happiness, they're connected.
There's that saying, a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. Like when you share your love, you don't run out. It actually grows.
Exactly. And then it spreads outward. It touches more and more people.
It's like Becker's asking us to try something new, like a big experiment. What if we all actually chose love as our main principle in everything we do? What would that look like? What kind of world could we create?
That's the question, isn't it? The question we all have to answer. But I really believe that if we committed to that, to really choosing love, it would change everything.
So how about this collective side of love?
Yeah.
Does Becker think our individual choices can actually shift consciousness on a global scale?
Absolutely. He says we're not just these isolated individuals making choices on our own. We're all part of this huge network, a web of consciousness. And what we think, what we feel, what we intend to do, especially when it's about love, it affects a whole network.
So we're all adding to this pool of energy, and that energy determines what kind of reality we experience.
He has this great metaphor. He says humanity is like a big symphony. Each person is a different instrument. When everyone's in tune, playing the same song, it's beautiful, it's harmonious. But when we're out of sync, playing different tunes, well, it's chaos.
So the more people who choose love, the more harmonious the symphony gets.
That's the idea. And it doesn't mean everyone have to be the same, think the same things, believe the same things. It's about understanding that we're connected, respecting our differences, and finding a way to create this, a symphony of love that includes everyone.
That's such a cool metaphor. It makes you feel like even though we're just one person, our choices matter. Like our choice to be loving, it can make a real difference. It can help shift things in a positive way. It reminds me of a time when, but let's just say I wasn't exactly in tune with the symphony, and it wasn't pretty.
We've all been there. But the good thing is you can always find your rhythm again, retune your instrument, and then you can play your part, contribute to that beautiful melody.
I needed to hear that. So it's like we're not just watching the world go by, we're part of it, we're creating it. And the more we align with this vision of love, the more we can make it real. It makes me think of all those movements in history, fighting for civil rights, gender equality, protecting the environment. All those were driven by love.
You're right. Those movements were successful because people chose to embody love. They stood up for what they believed in, even when it was hard. They didn't accept things the way they were. They chose to create something new, something better, something more just, more loving, more compassionate.
And that's what we can all do. We can all be part of that change.
That's the power of Becker's work. He reminds us that we're not helpless. We're not victims. We're co-creators. We create our own lives and we create the world together.
And our choices matter, even the small ones. They ripple out way beyond our own little bubble.
Absolutely. He's saying, hey, what if love isn't just a feeling? What if it's a force, a power, something that can transform everything?
It's a beautiful idea and a little bit scary too.
I think it's both. It's beautiful, it's challenging, but it's an invitation. an invitation to explore the incredible power of love.
And I think as we keep exploring Becker's work, we're going to learn even more about how love can create a world that's, well, more joyful, more fulfilling, more everything. What else does Becker have for us?
I'm ready for more.
Okay, hit me with more Becker. It's amazing how he takes all these different ideas, like the universe, our everyday lives, and shows how they all come back to love. What's next?
Well, remember how we talked about humanity being like a grand symphony? Each person a unique instrument. I think there's a lot more to unpack with that metaphor. It gets at something really profound about love and how we evolve together.
I love how he uses metaphors. They make these complex ideas so much easier to grasp. It's like he's speaking to, I don't know, your heart and your head at the same time.
And this symphony idea, it highlights something so important. Love isn't about everyone being the same, singing the same note, playing the same instrument. Real love, it's about celebrating all the different ways it is to be human, recognizing that everyone has something special to contribute.
That really resonates with me. It's like with love, you don't try to erase differences, you celebrate them.
Exactly. And you know what else Becker emphasizes? He talks about recognizing and embracing your own unique gifts, your talents. He believes we each have a special part to play in this grand symphony, a melody that only we can bring.
It's like that quote, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Becker wants us to step into our power, right? Own our gifts and share them, knowing that we're adding to the beauty of the whole symphony.
Perfect connection. That gets at something crucial about love. It's expansive. It doesn't try to make things smaller, it makes them bigger. When love is your guide, you want to see everyone thrive. You want to see their gifts shine.
It creates this fertile ground where everyone can grow and become their best selves.
Beautifully said. And that leads us to another important point. Aligning with your passions, your purpose. Becker says, when you do what you love, when you use your gifts to serve something bigger than yourself, you're not just happy, you're also contributing to the good of everyone.
That makes so much sense. It's like when you're living your purpose, your energy flows more easily. And that energy, it affects everyone around you, the whole world even, like finding your rhythm in the symphony.
And remember how we talked about qualifying the energy of life with our intentions? When your intentions are about love, about serving others, the energy you send out, it has a different quality. It vibrates higher. It can lift people up, inspire them.
That makes me think about all the people who've made a difference just by following their passions. Artists, musicians, writers, inventors, healers, activists, teachers, all those people who dedicated themselves to creating beauty, spreading knowledge, promoting peace, making the world a better place.
Beautiful reminder of what happens when you align with love and purpose. And it's not just about famous people, right? You can make a difference too, in your own way, just by embracing your passions, sharing your gifts, and acting from a place of love.
It's like Becker is inviting us to see ourselves as part of this bigger story, this grand journey towards more love, more understanding, more connection. And our choices, even the little ones, they matter. They can help us move in that direction.
You said it perfectly. And I think that's the heart of Becker's message. Love isn't just a feeling, it's a force, a power, an energy that can transform not just ourselves, but the whole world.
I'm so glad we did this deep dive. It's given me so much to think about. These ideas are definitely staying with me.
It's been great exploring all of this with you. And you know what Becker would say? It's not enough to just understand this stuff. You have to live it.
Yeah. Make love a verb, not just a noun.
Exactly. It's a choice, a guiding principle for, well, everything.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And as Becker reminds us, joy is our birthright and love is our journey. So embrace the journey and, well, share the joy.
Beautifully said. And to everyone listening, here's something to think about. If you really believe that love is who you are deep down and that your choices can change the world, how would you live differently? What kind of world would you create?